Mi nombre es Rita Maria Contreras y esto es Una Plática. Well, when I was about 6, I was in grade school at Sacred Heart School. There was a contest and I won a blue ribbon. And my dad bought the piece. They were shown in the parish hall and my dad bought the piece. But as far as actually like being an artist, it's kind of like more like something that you are. And I didn't know anybody who was like a professional artist. So the idea of it being like a profession wasn't an idea I had. But it was something, my dad always called me an artist, and I felt like it was something that was inside of me. Well, we always played drawing with sidewalk chalk on the sidewalk. And again, my father put in a big chalkboard that he made out of an old door that he, not an old door, but a flat door that was painted with that special paint, and made a chalkboard for us inside in the dining room and hung it up there. And so me and my cousin and my friends, we would always draw there inside. So we always had some place to be drawing, and it was just part of what we did when we played when we were growing up. Absolutely. I feel like Centro Aztlan has given artists, including myself, an opportunity to show. I felt very privileged to be asked to be in a show, curated show. I couldn't tell you how many years ago. I'd have to look it up. It was Andy Villarreal who curated it. And at any rate, since then, I have been showing there for a long time. And Centro Aztlan gives artists like me an opportunity to show their work, continue to show it as an emerging artist or an established artist, and also they promote you. And I think that's super important. I know these days people are very much into self-promotion. I find that difficult, but it's a necessary job because what little time I have, I want to spend it making art. And for someone like an organization like Centro Aztlan to promote it is really important. Well, I have a very dear friend, and she's a longtime artist who is like a role model to me in a way. I don't know if I could achieve what she achieved, but she's really amazing. And her name is Anita Valencia, and I think you interviewed her already. But she's a really amazing woman. And other than that, I'd say my dad was a really strong influence on me, and I think he's probably the main reason that I feel so strongly that I could be an artist, but somewhere it's internalized, and when you once realize that, then you just do it because you have to. You have to do it. Well, some of my works are inspired by incidents that occur culturally or politically. And I like to, with an image, be able to make people think about what is happening and hopefully realize the importance of our democracy and liberty and justice. And one of my pieces refers very specifically to that. Others are more like narrative pieces, and they also might tell a story. Perhaps about our culture, about water, about multiple things. That's the wonderful thing about imagery, is you can say a lot of things by what you include in a painting. And I feel like that's how I hope to impact with my work, make an impact. Well, that if you have to do it, figure out a way to do it. If you can work in a field related to art, do that so that you're exposed to other artists. And I'm saying this as someone who had not had the opportunity to do those sorts of things very much, because I have a family, I have children, grandchildren, you know, I feel very strongly that family kind of comes first. But then again, if I don't make art, I'm not a very nice person. So I'm not a nice mom or grandma or wife or anything else unless I get to make my art. So I don't know, I probably diverged again. Okay, this piece is entitled With Liberty and Justice for All. And although it was, the idea for it came from a particular incident that occurred in early 2017, I feel like it continues to speak to everyone because it's a hybrid of Lady Justice and Lady Liberty. And first of all, the idea that we have these images and they're female, they're feminine images, they represent justice and liberty, which are so important to us, and yet women are denied some very important liberties in a lot of places. And I feel very strongly about that. Instead of being, Lady Justice is usually blindfolded, this is Lady Liberty's face gagged, because, you know, who wants to hear the women speak up about their rights? So, you know, but yet it is still reminds people of the Statue of Liberty, you know, give me your poor, you're tired. You know, it speaks to the immigration issue. I feel like there's just a lot to say with the combination of, you know, creating this hybrid of Lady Justice and Lady Liberty, but Lady Liberty gagged. Okay, this piece is called Intertwined, and my father came from Mexico at a young age. He was about 14 or 15. He came with his sister and his mother, and I felt at a young age always this intertwining of culture. You know, I felt American because I spoke English. I mean, I speak Spanish as well, but I heard Spanish in my home. I heard my dad talk about Mexico. We visited when I was a child, and I always felt like these two cultures were near one another. I mean, we were near the border. We lived in a neighborhood that was mixed. It was mostly Mexican-American or Mexican, but there were also an Italian family and a German family here and there. It was a middle-class neighborhood, Prospect Hill. And I didn't feel all the horrible conflict growing up. But of course, then you get older and you get slapped with reality. And when I made this piece, I intertwined the pieces kind of braid-like to recall the braids that indigenous women wear in the, you know, in the Americas, generally speaking. And I used two rubber bands to tie it, and one of them is white and one is brown, and the brown one's at the bottom. So those are other ways that I'm telling the current story, which is a horribly sad story with the immigration issues and the terrible things that are happening to people because the ones in power refuse to see our humanity. They just don't. I don't know how else. If they saw people as humans, how could they treat people like that? So I feel strongly about it.